My dude,
Good evening, sir. How are you?
I am good. It is good to see you. How are you going?
Yeah, good, man. Good. Hey, I'm fascinated already by the background and what's going on
Ah,
in there. Like
never quick.
this
This
new.
is the video.
Yeah, I've seen the studio, but have you done anything to it? Have you changed stuff?
Well, you haven't interviewed me since I've moved house, right?
Ah.
Yeah, so this is the new place.
Oh, okay. And this is at
Yeah.
your house, or is it?
Yeah.
Well,
Wife and I bought a place earlier this year, and I basically spent 4 weeks building a studio inside a double garage. So I've got like a 4.2 meter by 5.8 meter studio that is like properly built, acoustician designed, all of it. It's fucking amazing. It's so sick.
that's the dream, dude.
Yeah,
That's
dude, like I've like had sketches of this written down for like in a notepad from like 8 years ago. So
man.
like to finally have it is like, yeah, legit dream come true. I mean, it's a massive bank loan come true, but it's there.
I'm about to build vocal booth in the garage.
Nice.
But it's the obstacle for me at the moment is the heat because we found out after because I had a window and everything put in there because originally
Mm.
I had my little studio space in there. It was like summer hit and things started to get melty. I
Yeah.
can't. That's not even started to get melt. What the fuck was that? Let me start that again.
Start getting melty.
It started
Start the
to get
melt.
melty, and like all my figures and stuff. Like I had like
Oh,
oh, and I would come and I was like, this is bad. This is really bad, like my turtles collection. So I had to move
oh shit.
here. But yeah, it's just because the other side of the wall is like a brick wall, and the garage it just
Yeah.
absorbs it. It gets up to like 35 in there. It's hectic.
So interestingly, because I mean, this is all instead of there's no plaster, it's all yellow tongue,
Okay.
and it's like legit double sheet on the inside, the 40 mil of yellow tongue, two deep of insulation, like squished in a 90 mil frame, and
Yeah.
then another two sheets of yellow tongue on the opposite sides. It doesn't get above 22, 23 degrees in here. So I only have the split system for when it's cold. That's it. It's
Oh,
fucking amazing.
that is
We
amazing.
had a 34-degree day the other day. It wasn't 34 degrees for long, but it was, I didn't notice it in here all day.
But when
Like,
you went out, you
yeah, yeah. I was like, oh shit. But like in the studio, I was like, this doesn't, it's great. So good. Whereas in the other place, I was like, oh, it's above 25 degrees. Can't be tracking for more than a few hours.
I remember I was doing it because it hit me. I was doing an interview with who was it? Herman Lee. It was Herman
Oh
Lee.
yeah.
It was so hot
Yeah.
in there that my computer shit the bed and I lost the interview.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that sucks.
Yeah, I was like, where is the interview? And it was gone. Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Like it melted. The whole thing.
There's some redundancies that can't be saved. Like I have a powered a UPS that'll last me like 20 minutes if shit goes down, and a NAS drive. But if I'm exactly like you said, if I'm filming something like a Zoom thing or whatever, and that dies, no backup's going to save that because it wasn't finished. It was
Yeah.
in real time. So yeah, it's like, what the fuck are you meant to do with that? Like that sucks.
It was bad. It was bad. So,
Oh
oh well, you learn your lessons, and that's
yeah, yeah,
I
totally
just
get it.
gotta get aircon or something in there. But I
Yeah,
want to be able to do demo vocals at
yeah,
full capacity. No
yeah.
more, no whispering. I hate the whispery thing. People go, just whisper it. Just whisper your ideas.
It doesn't work like that, dude.
Can't do it. They don't just put a little distortion, just do your little whisper screen, and you just feel so lame.
Nah, but it also just doesn't get the point across. Like I get it for people who are like, if you're a guitarist and you want to give it to your vocalist, be like, oh, this is the idea I have 100%. But when you're trying to convey to your band what you want to do,
Yeah,
you can't whisper it. It doesn't tell you anything. It just tells you where things are. It doesn't tell you what you're trying to put across. It doesn't do anything. So I get it. I totally get it.
you can go. Yeah,
Yeah.
and you're like, no, 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 no. You just got to use your imagination. They're like,
Yeah.
yeah, it
Yeah.
sucks. Nah,
Yeah.
I'd rather go. Here's the thing. There's several layers. It's a
Yep.
pizza of death
Yep.
metal. Do what you will.
Well, I wouldn't have sold the band on half the songs of Pardon Vita Mortem if I didn't do that because I demoed the entire harmonized chorus for Beacons and Karma Favors the Week because we agreed on no clean vocals in the band for like the longest time.
Yeah.
Because we did the whole like we don't want to do clean vocals because all the other bands did it just to be trendy. And then I just really felt clean vocals were going to work for those two songs, and then I came up with the melodies, recorded the demos fully, and then sent it to them and just thought I might send this across, didn't say shit, and they were like, is this what you want to do? And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, do it. I'm like, oh, sick. But if I said to them, I want to do clean vocals, they would have been like, how about you want to know?
Yeah. That's right. That's right. You know, they do.
So
Like we've got
I stand by you.
we've only got one song that's got clean, and
Yeah.
that was it. Like we used to.
Yeah.
Now everyone's like, we just want brutal. It's like, okay then. All
Okay.
right. No worries. But yeah. Anyway, hey man, it is really good to see you again. I know
You too.
I took us on a little journey off
Nah, it's
the
good, dude.
wherever tangent land.
Nice to catch up.
It is, man. Yeah, it's really good. And of course, I'm pretty stoked that you're going to be hitting the road with your buddies Cameria. Not up here yet, though. I've got my fingers crossed.
Not yet. Not yet.
Stoked
Not
for
yet.
you because it's awesome. How's
Look,
it been running with those guys?
pardon?
How's it running with those guys? You started it.
So I've been a fan of them for ages. And like, we've been Facebook friends for ages.
Yeah.
And we've always just been flirting from afar, so to speak. And when we sort of thought about getting this tour together, we're like, oh, dude, they'd be perfect. Like, it's just such a cool crossover because in some regards, we do some similar stuff.
Mm.
We like the whimsical melodies, right? Like, but they go from the gothier, rockier, heavy, fantasy side of it, and we go from the more melodic, like the death metal side of it. But we both really enjoy pretty melodic things, and I think it's going to work really well. Like, I can't wait. And we've got this like pre-tour party happening on Friday night, in conjunction with a brewery in Melbourne, and it's just like we're all going to finally catch up in person before the tour. So it's just a really nice, like wholesome thing. So I'm really excited.
Oh, you have? I thought you'd done one show already.
So technically, we did the show in Broken Hill for the Mad Max, the Metal to the Max festival. That wasn't with Carmeria though. That was just us and the lineup on Metal to the Max. But because it was really the first gig since the album came out, it was part of the tour. When else were we going to play Broken Hill? It was so sick. So that was technically the first show, but the first show with Carmeria will be this coming weekend.
That's pretty exciting. That's pretty exciting. Yeah. Have you got some surprises in store for everyone that's going to the shows?
Yeah, we've definitely got some stuff in there. Like we've upped the living crap out of our live game. It's when we did the shows last year, for example, with Triple Kill, which was really fun. Like, we were sort of doing it as a portraits run, but then it was like Quest Fest mixed in, and we were just having fun, right? Like we're just having a great time. Now we've got the new keyboardist. We went to Japan. We really committed to this new stage aesthetic with Emberglow. All the uniforms, the light show's insane. Got video backdrops for every song.
Sick.
It's like programmed foggers, like 4 of them on stage that go off at different times, and some of the stuff's choreographed. And there's a couple of things I won't mention yet because it might be really cool when the day comes, or it might be really bad, so we'll find out. But there's some stuff that we've committed to that we've definitely looked at each other and gone, is that going to work, or is that going to be like really shit? But we've committed to it, and I'm keen to see how it translates.
That's exciting.
Exciting. Yeah, I'm pretty keen.
Yeah. Let's rewind a bit. How was that Mad Max? Was it to the Metal to the Max?
Metal to the Max. Yep.
Yeah. How was that?
So I'm just going to start it the same way I've answered this to anyone who's asked about it. The guys at Lead Heavy, so a lot of the dudes in Firestorm, specifically Ash Meadows and his crew, cannot say enough good things about those dudes. Given that they're obviously just killer musos and killer band and the rest of it, to put on a show 9 hours out of Melbourne, probably 9 hours out of everywhere, really, if not more, to put on a show for the first time, to have the ambition that they have, to be able to put it on at like literally the old Mad Max compound where stuff was filmed for the first few Mad Max movies, and have it be such a success. I have not enough good words in the world for them. I really hope the success of the first one leads to many, many more. And all I could think when I was there, it was like super wholesome. Like it was just like it was a couple of hundred metalheads who were there to camp and watch metal and just have a really lovely time. It was probably like just the most wholesome experience I've been a part of at a gig in a while, to be honest.
Huh.
Like it was just, it was like a festival gig, but you felt like it was like a secret festival that no one else had access to. Like it was such a cool thing. And like we did the 9 hour drive. We left at like 4 in the morning or something stupid. Where were I already cooked by the time we got in? And then we come into where the compound is, and there's like the guns at the entry, like the full like Gatling guns on the tires and on the all the railings and all the burnt out cars. Then you go through that, and then it's like straight through like a desert compound to the stage, and it's just it was sick. It was honestly just it was really invigorating, and like we did Hell on the Bay before that as well,
Yeah, yeah.
like not too long ago. So to come off doing Hell on the Bay where we got dressed up as like undead pirates and we did a cover of Under the Sea and SpongeBob SquarePants.
Nice.
Had a lot of fun on that. And then to go to do Metal to the Max and be like, wow, they were just fun, they were really fun, wholesome gigs. And now we've got to kick it into keep the fun, but bring the like uber intense side of who we are as well. Like I think that's a balance we've managed to get comfortable with, which is like I think the kill switch engage thing, where it's like they're such idiots on stage, and yet their music is just so finely crafted and they execute it so well. That's what we want to do. We want to be able to be like, you come and see us, and if you like the music, then I want people to be like, wow, that was awesome. But the flip side is if you don't know us and you don't really know the music, I want people to go, I've never heard of them before, but that show was amazing. I need to go check them out. Like that's what I really think we're getting a lot better at. And you can tell because at Prac, we've got our whole stage production set up at Prac. So there's like no space at Prac anymore because there's like 20 lights and smoke guys is going off and blah, blah, blah. But we're all like laughing and smiling and having the best time. Like every Prac is almost like its own show. And it's like, that's sick. Like it's probably the most fun we've had in like, what, 16 years of being a band or whatever it's been now.
That's unreal. That's unreal.
Mm.
Man, did you have all that stuff over in Japan when you did that run with Scar Symmetry?
Yeah, so we had like a bit more of a scaled down version of it because the album wasn't out yet.
Yeah, yeah.
Only the actually, when was May? The single hadn't even dropped yet, I don't think. So I think we very cheekily had just told people like, no one's heard this before. Yeah, this is the first time in the world that anyone gets to hear the title track. And then we played Emberglow there, had a scaled down version of the live show, and it went off. It was the last time we went to Japan, I was sick. Joao had a broken arm. Oh, not broken, so he had muscle tendon injury, so he couldn't play.
Yeah.
It was a very scaled down version of Orpheus, and like we had a great time. The response was good, but to come in all guns blazing, and it was the first three shows for Campbell, our new keyboardist. Like he just jumped in the band, and we were like, well, we'll bring you into some shows after Japan because obviously we've got that booked, and we can't expect you to show up to that. It's like 2 months away, and he was like, yeah, I can. And we're like, are you sure? He's like, yeah, I can swing it, and like it was amazing. It was such a cool experience because three of the guys in the band hadn't been to Japan yet or hadn't toured internationally, whereas Matt and I had. So we got to not only have the best time over there as like really like a five-piece tight locked in unit, but we also got to watch them for the first time have people swamp them to sign stuff and then be like, what the hell is this? And us be able to go, this is what happens when you go overseas and play and you do your job well effectively. People enjoy it. And it was so cool to see people who'd already seen us before and got to meet the new members and be like, oh, here are photos of us that we took last time when you guys were here. And now we need photos with the new members. And then to have people who had never seen us, who came to see Scar Symmetry and Persephone, come and just be like, we came for the other bands. We don't know who you are, but we need to buy all of your merch right now. And I'm like, dude, that is like, ah, yeah, it was a really, yeah, reinvigorating experience, I guess, pre coming back to Australia and getting all the album stuff ready to come out. Because we'd done so much stuff behind the scenes, especially like with member changes and then getting all of that ready for an album launch with the label and, so much behind the scenes stuff. It was nice to get the payoff from it, I guess. And especially for the other dudes who hadn't either played shows yet or had spent so much time with us behind the scenes and hadn't really toured hard yet. Now to be able to go, oh, this is what it's all about, releasing an album with this band, it was really cool.
That's awesome. That's all. Because man, Ember, I'm struggling tonight. Hey, I got to get
It's the
you had
heat.
it last week. I got it this week. Man, Emberglow's unreal. And I
I appreciate
believe
it.
that I asked you last time we spoke, and you're like, zip, you didn't let it
Yeah.
through. Yeah, like, but you were cooking this thing up like back in 2020 in the apocalypse, right?
So not quite 2020, but like lockdowns Victoria. I don't know when
Okay.
that is now. It's a smear of time. Like I don't have answers for any dates, man. Like I have no idea. But somewhere in that like year and a half bubble, when we realized, oh shit, we're not going to see each other for a while. Um, One thing that I really appreciated, and this obviously goes out to Joao and Kez as well, who were in the band at the time before Luke and Campbell. We all kept in touch with each other. We all made sure that we caught up twice a week, had a couple of, just like video meetings, caught up, chatted. And then obviously the bug came back while we were doing that. And, someone would be like, so I've been writing some stuff. Yeah, me too. All right. Do you guys want to put it in a folder? And we'll just start looking at them. And then that became a once a week catch up slash go over songs. Second part of the week, 4 hours on Zoom calls with guitars and stuff,
Yeah.
plugging into each other's, systems effectively, recording bits, adding it to songs, recording bits, adding it to songs. Someone else takes over the screen sharing, recording bits, adding it to songs. Pretty much put most of the album together like that. Then when things opened up, we could practice them in person. So we'd go through like one song every 2 weeks. We were in no hurry. So it was like one song, 3 sessions. Does it feel good? Feels good. We can't really do much more with this. Cool. Bank it. Pre-pro. Move on. Did that for all the songs. Then it was like, I don't know, whenever it was, whatever point in time that was, start of 2022, maybe. I can't remember. But whatever that time frame was, it was like, cool, hit up Thomas Johansson, Plek from Sweden,
Mm.
who's mastered our stuff in the past. I've worked with him so much through Monolith as well. And I was like, dude, we want you to produce this because can't think of a better person. He's like one of my best friends who I've never met in real life.
That's awesome.
And I wouldn't trust anyone else. So we did 6 days of pre-pro with him via Zoom. So we gave him all the stems, catch up at like 5 p.m. till 12 a.m. Everyone was basically living at my house for a week. Then we'd make all the changes, get up like 9 the next morning, implement all the changes, eat, pre-pro with Plek for the second day, go to bed, get up at 9, pre-pro, blah, 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 rinse and repeat for 6 days. And I lost my voice on the fourth day because of how many reruns they wanted me to do for the
Oh
vocals.
wow.
I think I recorded like 3 albums worth of vocals in that week. Like probably 90% of the vocals were locked in before we actually started recording the album. Like that's how it all came. Like we worked so hard on that pre-pro, and I can't thank Plek enough for the time and effort he put in because like listening back to it, it's the first time that I've listened back to an album we've done and gone, I wouldn't touch it.
Yeah, that
Like maybe from here we'll do something different and we'll learn, and obviously that's what you want. But looking back at it, I'm like, there is no way we could have made a better album at the time. And maybe it's not that good of an album. You don't know how that feels or what that's going to be like. But I know that at that point in time, that is the best Orpheus Omega that we could have been in that time frame. And I think that's satisfying because it's like, hey man, whether you like it or not, I freaking gave it everything. So, you know,
and that's a
nothing
hard
left on the
thing.
table.
That's a hard thing to do, you know, for any band. Just to
Mm.
be able to go, it's done. Because
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I will forever hear my stuff back, even now, and go, I'd do this differently, or I'd do this. And just to be able to go, yeah, it's done, and just let it go.
Yeah.
That's the
Mhm.
hardest thing. So for you to be able to, be satisfied with that, that's massive.
So one of the things more recently that I've learned to do is fry scream because usually I do false chord screams.
Oh, yep.
Um,
Yep.
and the reason for that is because I have like some health issues at the moment with like thyroid stuff and some other things, and it's made vocals really difficult,
Oh, well.
which is frustrating. But I've learned how to do fry screams, and they're way more sustainable. And I've never been able to do that fucking thing
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because I've just never understood the mechanics of it. It's like my vocal teacher used to try to teach me, and I'm just like, I don't get it. I don't understand how people do that sound. So I've recently unlocked how to do that, which has made its way into the live set more and more because it's just when I need it to be there so I can get through a set and not, feel like shit afterwards effectively.
Yeah.
And now that I've done it, the only thing I was thinking was like, oh, there's some parts in Emberglow that would have been cool if I did that. But then my brain was like, but you didn't even know how to do it then. So how were you going to know how to do it then? And so now I'm like, you know what? Cool. Next album, there's going to be some fry screams on that. Like I've
Nice.
unlocked, it's like you unlock a new fucking achievement in a video game and you're like, I need to use that weapon now. Like, so I've now learned how to do this thing that I'm like, I would love to incorporate that into some Orpheus stuff. So now it's exciting because I can do it live and I can mix it with my main growls whenever I want to. And I can bring it into the next recording process. So I'm already like, oh, new thing that we can do. Hey guys, I can do this thing. So tell me when you want it. So it's been cool because I don't feel like, oh, I wish I did that on the last album. I feel like I didn't know how to do that on the last album, but I will for the next one. So I hope to use it effectively when that time comes.
How'd you find it? How'd you unlock that? Were you watching tutorials or were you just sort of messing around vocally
Me-
or
Messing around, and my friend Andy Gillian, which you I assume you would have seen at
oh,
some point
mate.
with us in
Yeah,
Ballot.
yeah, yeah, we go way
Of
back.
course,
Yeah, yeah.
who doesn't? Good old Andy Gillian. But yeah, he's one of the most talented people I know, and his new album, Exilium, was going to be not that it was going to be an instrumental, but he'd written all of it instrumentally. And I think originally he wanted to get guest vocalists on it.
Yeah.
Then he learned how to fry scream. So the dude can play guitar, play piano, play fucking bass, drums, and now he can scream and sing. And so I was like, how do you do it? I'm like, because you learned how to scream, like how to do fry screams from no screaming. What was the idea? And he sort of was like, oh, it's kind of this thing. And I was like sick one week and I couldn't access any of my like false chord stuff because I use a lot of like my nasal cavity to
Yeah.
get
Yeah.
my sound out. So I was like really sick, really stuffy. I'm like, I can't do my sound. And I'm like, I wonder if I can like try to start doing that thing and started getting it where I was like, oh, wait a minute, that kind of sounded like it. And then I was like holding the note. Then I started trying to say words. And I sent Andy a message saying, is this how you do it? But in the fry scream.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, yeah, dude, it's that. But like, try to put less voice into it. Try to do less of a sung note and then try to like soften the note. He was just giving me like little pointers. I spent the next like month just doing that on top of my normal growl regiment. And it's not to say I can do it super well now, but I feel like it's another tool now that I look forward to growing instead of something that I just had no grasp of. But it just kind of clicked across like a week that I understood how to do it. And it was weird because I've been trying to do it for like 10 years, like legit on and
Just
off
can't
10
work it
years.
out.
I've been
Yeah.
like, can't do it, can't do it. And now I'm like, wait, what? Now I can do it. It's the weirdest thing. But yeah, it's just a interesting sound that I've never understood. And it's kind of like the way my, I guess what's it called, like palette shapes it to sound. It's somewhere between like Matt Heafy's scream and then Jason from Psychroptic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it's like a little bit like that Peppo, that real like throaty, honky sort of like hits you in the face sound. And my growls don't sound like that. My growls have that like more maybe like I don't know Lamagotty, Dark Tranquility, that real classicy
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
growl. And now I've got this thing where I'm like, oh, we can do metalcore covers again. Fuck yeah.
See, I'm still trying to work it out because I'm very
Mm,
old school caveman,
mm.
dry death metal, old, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah,
I've
yeah.
got my mids,
You got more of
low,
that like Cannibal Corpsey, like
yeah, but
it's a very specific.
and I want to expand. That's my goal with this
Mm,
booth, building this booth, is
yeah, yeah.
be able to go in there and
Mm.
experiment. Because I don't know about you, man. People go, "Oh, just practice in the car," but I find that I'm very animated when I can talk
Yep,
depending,
100%. Yep.
and I can't do that when I'm doing that.
Yep.
You
Yep.
get
I
one thing
completely
out of
agree. But also your diaphragm's all freaking like cooked up when you're driving. It's all like squished in. And the other thing I found though, when trying to like practice at home or like learn new stuff was like being quieter.
Mm.
So it's a weird one, but I felt like I'd have like one ear in listening to music and trying to growl so that I'm not so much louder than the music
Yeah.
that's in one of my ears. And that was the weirdest thing that taught me how to be more in control of my growls was how do I keep making that same sound without being really overpowering? And that was like its own journey of like how to get to the point where I could be like, all right, I can do 15 songs and not cook myself. But that was also in-ear's help with that and blah, 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 blah. But it's, vocals are a whole thing, like when you learn guitar, there's always like there's a step that makes sense. You just progress in a way that just makes sense.
Mm.
I feel like vocals are the complete opposite. you're in a shit mood. All the training goes out the window. Like it just, it's such a different beast.
Yes, it is. And the in-ears thing, we're treading into that area now too. And
Yeah.
I struggled with that for a
Yeah.
long time, man. And now it's baby steps. I feel like
Yeah.
this year is going to be the year. But enough about my
Nah, it's all good, dude. It's
all
fun.
about you and your adventures because mate, even the artwork for Emberglow. Look, what the fuck is wrong with me? Let's start that again. I'm just gonna get you to say it, Emberglow.
We're
Uh
calling it album blow now. That's it.
but yeah,
Herbiter.
that's the real now. Everyone's going, what is wrong with this guy? Um, the artwork is incredible too.
Yep. Uh, honestly, Nicholas Sundin, ex Dark Tranquility. Uh, it's what do I say? Like the dude killed it. The long story, cool. The cool long story short is, we worked with Tristan a fair bit. Tristan Tate, illustrations. He did portraits and he did Where Your Sins. Nicholas did Partum Vita Mortem, and I think just when we were having the chat about the vibe of this album, we were like, I think it's a Nicholas album. Like we want to hit up Nicholas again. It just feels right. And he's been a friend for a while now, and he's just such a lovely dude. And we're like, look, we're in the middle of a pandemic. There's no rush. Don't know if you're interested, but we'd love you to work on this. And he was like, dude, sweet. Like, give me time. If you guys aren't in a hurry, I'll sit with it. Whatever. I'm like, cool. We'll just send you demos and songs as they come through. And one night he's like, hey, I've got these two ideas. Have a look. Tell me what you think, and just get back to me. He's like, but these were the ones that sort of made sense to me, and he sent them through, and like they were awesome, and they were very Nicholas. Like you'd look at him and go, that's a Nicholas artwork, like no doubt. But we were like, it's awesome, but it doesn't quite like they're really cool, and I would love to see them on like our merch or something or whatever. We were like, it doesn't work on the album cover. Maybe we just need to like tell him what we don't like between the two and just fix the direction from there. As I go to like basically write the email, I see another email from Nicholas just going, this is like I think in the same like 12 hours or something, and it's like, oh hey guys, sorry, bit random, but I've also been listening to the songs again and some of the lyrics, and I sort of this is like this other really tangential thing I made, but I want to send it over just to see if you vibe with it. It's very different from the other two. See how you go. And it was like the 90% finished version of what the album cover is. And I will completely admit I like welled up on the spot because I looked at it and my brain just went, that's the cover. Like I didn't care if the band didn't like. I was like, I'm ready to walk if no one else likes this. Like, sent it to the band and basically it was like, that's the cover. That's the album cover. And the tweaks we made were literally like, oh, the figure in the white who's obviously trying to push back the other force. Can we make him a little bit smaller and can we make the glow a bit further? Just like those sort of really nitpicky tweaks, but that was it. There was nothing else that we wanted. It was like it was there, and the dude's incredible. Like, I say that gushingly because I've loved his work since I got into Dark Tranquility. I love all of the artwork he's done and anything he's ever done for us, like the Archways Across Asia DVD, Partum Vita Mortem, and now this. It's just been like it's like sometimes when you go, is my music good enough for the artwork? Because the artwork's really good, man. But I feel like this time around, the entire package is like I said, I wouldn't change anything. Admittedly, when I did the first rounds of the mixes and we were like, yep, they're done, we obviously sat with them for ages because we didn't go label hunting or anything yet. And then we did portraits because Luke had joined.
Hmm.
Luke had basically contributed a cool solo to Bound to Apathy on Emberglow, which was like when he joined the band, I'm like, hey, do you want this solo? Because I did it. And I kind of maybe half-assed it a little bit because I didn't know I was meant to do a solo and it's good, but do you want to inject your thing on it? I'd love to have you on the album. And so Luke did the awesome solo for Bound to Apathy. And then we did Portraits, which was Kez's and my kind of like crazy idea from years ago. And we're like, let's just put that out. Let's do this EP. Let's have fun. Things have opened up again. And then did that. And because that was so different, I went back and listened to the album when we were talking to labels at the time. And I was like, I don't think the mix holds up now that Portraits is out because I feel like Portraits, especially stuff like Edge of Forever, which is a very Leon song, something like Exist to Observe, Luke's song, and even Within These Walls, I'm like, oh, they've got this sort of edge to them that felt catchy but still really aggressive in the mix.
Mm.
And then I went back and listened to Emberglow and realized I sort of made it sound more soft Like it had more of like maybe like an Insomnium kind of edge, where it's got that more melancholy vibe to the mix, which really suits Insomnium. But I don't know, maybe it was just the like pandemic depression that I had while I was like mixing it. But I felt like when I listened back to it, I'm like, where's the punch in what we recorded? Like, what did I do? And I just said to the guys, look, I'll wear the remastering costs. Are you okay for me to remix this? Like, I'll have one shot at it.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't sound good, obviously the band gets final call. I wasn't going to make it unilaterally. But the guys were like, look, we're willing to entertain it, but you get 2 weeks. That's it. So you don't sit on it forever. We don't want you to go nuts. And I was like, cool. I didn't do anything like from scratch, but it was like, I would say 30% different.
Yeah, well.
I sent them the AB, basically the pre-mastered version of the first mix and then the pre-mastered version of the second one. And like unanimously, it was like, this is the better mix. I'm like, awesome. Shoot it off to mastering next week. Sent it off to Wormhole.
Crazy.
um,
You signed up with those guys,
yeah.
which is awesome too.
Oh, they've been awesome, man. Like, it's just nice working with someone who, how sometimes you feel like you're always going to outwork the people you work with. Like, it's just that vibe of like, 'cause it's my baby. They're really great. Like, they've been on top of us. Like, hey, we need stuff. Send us things. Do you have things for us to promote? And like, honestly, we've kind of been the slow ones because
Oh
we've been
wow.
doing so much like tour prep and other things. So like, they're great. Like, if we ask them something, they have an answer. If we need help with something, they're there to do it. If they need to share something, they do it. Which blows my mind because they have so many artists on their roster, but you can tell it's just run by people who care about metal. Like they love what they do. They're not a massive label or anything like that, but from some of the things I hear from some bands who've been on certain labels, I rather be cared about and not a number in certain places. So, like even if we're on a bigger label, if it meant that we may not get the same sort of care, then I don't think it'd be worth it.
No, that's
Being on a label that is a little bit smaller, but who's like, hey, we actually care about this and like we enjoy what you enjoy out of this and have similar goals. It's been really nice. It's just if anything, it's kind of had like a family vibe, if that makes sense. Like
yeah.
I don't feel like I'm just talking to workers who work, like, oh, we'll send it to this person. Here's the PR person. Like they just feel like people who also care about the band. And that's nice. I feel like that's something that we've maybe missed a little bit from
Hmm.
having.
And that can happen because especially when it
Mm,
gets higher up the chain on those bigger
yeah.
labels and stuff like that, there's so many moving parts.
Yeah.
Like even doing this, like sometimes I'll send something through and they go, "Oh no, that's that person over here. I'll forward it
Yeah,
next."
yeah, yeah. No, I'm not helping with that. Yeah, but you're the first person that
Yeah,
contacted
yeah.
me.
They're
Like, yeah,
like,
no, 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 I'm just handing it over.
yeah, they just, oh no, no, no. This is like it's just how it works. Like it's
Yeah,
people doing good jobs, but
yeah,
it's just sometimes the pieces
yeah.
get moved around. So that's really cool, man.
Mm.
Zoom's gonna kick us off in 6 minutes. Sorry, bro. I got a
No,
little
no, dude,
carried
I get
away.
it.
Got a little carried away. But as a producer, you've done some amazing work. Um, has there been anything of late that's really come across your desk that you're really proud of, or something or someone that you're wanting to work with that you've heard recently?
Uh, It's going to be like the most cliche answer, but I genuinely feel like I have the best job in the world and I get to work with the most fun people. I like really do mean that. I gave up a long time ago thinking that I want to work with all the big bands, if that makes sense. Like, I'm like, I want to be like Andy Sneap. And I'm like, I don't. I just want to be the guy who gets to wake up and enjoy what I do. Um, and I get to do that. I get to work with young bands that no one knows who I'm like, man, you guys better freaking get somewhere because you're awesome, And like, I feel invested. I feel like I do have that like proud dad vibes when I work with some bands, and that's really cool. I think that's really special. Um, like a couple of the ones I'm working with at the moment, like Space Goat, are awesome. Rise from Ashes, they're like really more modern dudes. They're doing some really cool stuff. Long-term friends and band that I love, Nabarus, have come back through to do another release. It's the first time I've worked with them in years, and in this capacity, like mixing
Yeah.
as well. And like that release is just sick. Yeah, absolutely loving it. And I got to do drums for Andy's album with Dave from Psychroptic. I got to track drums on that album, so it was like Andy and I producing with Dave tracking drums. I mean, what more do I want? I feel very privileged to get to do what I do. So yeah, anyone I get to work with is the band I want to work with. Really, that's what it boils down to.
So cool, man. I saw Dave play the other night with
With a Bremlin,
yeah.
Yeah,
Dude, it was so,
yeah. Well, they're so sick.
I had a
They've
good.
grown on me a lot because it's not really my kind of death metal, but like the more I see them, I'm like, "Fuck, they're good. Like,
It was good,
good.
man. And Alarum as well.
Yeah, Alarm are always sick.
Good dudes. Good dudes. That was a
Yeah.
good night. That was a really good night. But
Pestilence, right?
yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. On a
yeah.
Wednesday night. Was it Wednesday? Well, yeah, Wednesday night in Brisbane.
Nice.
It was cool. Yeah, it was a good time. But I guess the $1 million question is you hitting the road, you're doing these shows with Carmeria. What about us up here? We're gonna get a little visit.
We're definitely going to come up there at some point next year. We are trying to work stuff out in the back at the moment so that it's an even bigger show than we think we can do. Just depending on a few things working out with other bands and some other stuff. If we can get it to work, I think the next time we come up is going to be sick. We never leave Brisbane behind, so it's not going to change now. But we want every one of these shows to be bigger. We want every one of these shows to be the like foot in the cement and just be like, no, we don't go anywhere. We will do better every time. That's how this is, and we have to stick to that. Otherwise, we wouldn't do it. You know, we want to make sure people keep coming back and just go. I need to keep seeing them. You know, it's like seeing Psychroptic. You never don't want to see Psychroptic. If Psychroptic are playing, you go see Psychroptic. Like, and that's you know, that's like I would love to grow to have that kind of at least like that legacy with our fans to go. Orpheus are playing, we're going, and that's you know, I want to work to that. I want that to be our goal, really. You know, it's like I want that connection with our fans. I want that staying power, and putting on the right show in Brisbane is part of that.
Excellent. Frenzel's another one of those bands.
Yes,
Me,
yes,
they could
yes.
they could play the same set, and you're like, you know what? Frenzel are playing this week. Let's go see
Gonna
Frenzel
go.
because you
Yep.
know that it's unpredictable, but you're gonna
Hmm.
get what you're gonna get with Frenzel. You know it's gonna be funny, but you don't know
Yep.
what's gonna happen because they
I'm
just
like that with Regurgitator too.
yes. I'm a huge Gurge fan.
Yeah, they're fucking great.
Man, man. We're gonna
Yep.
have a chat about Regurgite next week. We're gonna go
Yeah.
down the Gurge rabbit hole because I fucking love that band so much. I don't
They're
care how
great.
many times I've
They're
seen.
so good.
Man, I want to see them do. I have this dream that they're gonna one day just do a heavy set of all the heavy shit. Like,
But they have to promote it as a not heavy set because that's what they would do.
yes,
You know they would. They'd be like, it's the most family friendly set we've ever done. And they would do that because that's what they would do.
that's right. Here's FSO, you know, and you're like, yeah, cool. Um, all that stuff. Yeah, man, I love it. I love that band so much. But hey, man, it's been really cool hanging out. Appreciate you jumping on, and you know, it's good to
uh,
see.
Always an absolute pleasure, dude. Thank you so much for taking the time to chat to me today as well. Appreciate it.
No worries, no worries. We'll have all the links down here and on the website thing. Brother, you take care. Say hello to the rest of the crew, and we'll see you
You
soon.
too, man. Thank you so much, dude.